Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm with Emily Dean. I'm with Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15 about anything. I mean anything. It could be the birth of the steam age, as far as I'm concerned. I'd just like to hear from people, because otherwise it can be a desolate and lonely job. That's what I think. What do you think, guys?
That's a lovely, cheery beginning to the show.
Yeah, but people, they want light and dark.
It's nice that you've got co-presenters and you still think it's a desolate and lonely job. You know, a lot of people do this on their own.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But I always still feel they don't do it that well. I like a bit of dialogue on air, do you know what I mean? Otherwise, I don't like this talking direct. It seems wrong. I feel like I need to go through some sort of interpreter.
Oh, right. Well,
anyway, I'm throwing the radio manual out the window. You're supposed to speak just directly to the listener all the time. Hello. All right, ya? I presume they're very old. How's the jam? So, I tell you something, I'm feeling proper Christmassy.
Oh, are you, Frank?
Oh, yeah, I tell you what, I did the BBC One Christmas advert this week.
You didn't.
Oh,
you're in the
lovely.
taste of Christmas.
It was lovely. It was. I think this year it's. I don't know if I'm allowed to give this away, but anyway, it's consider yourself part of the family is the theme. As if we're all one big family.
Do you know, that's very up your strauser, Frank. I can see you.
Yes, I am. Because exactly. I think the idea is that we're going to share out the licence money right across the nation to help people with heating.
Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
But, it was, I tell you, Mrs. Brown was in it.
Frank, that's one of your... That's like meeting the Dalai Lama for some Tibetan Buddhists.
Well, it is.
Meeting Mrs. Brown.
Yeah, I talked about some of his previous lives. I wish he was worshipped by the Buddhists. I think they missed a trick there, the Buddhists, with Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
But, in the advert, he sits on my lap for the duration. I say he, I should say
he,
she.
she,
I was
yeah.
just about to say. What?
Yeah, I know. We got on like a Irish pub on fire. It was a case of me and Mrs. Brown, we got a thing going on. Wouldn't that be the best tabloid story ever if there's a thing going on between me and Mrs. Brown? I'd be so happy about that.
He's a super brain, though, isn't he? Isn't he one of those brainiacs?
Oh, is he?
Is he?
Yeah.
One of those brainiacs.
I don't know, obviously he was in character for the whole day.
Oh, was he? Oh, good. Right. He's very method, is he?
He's a terribly serious actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else did you meet then?
Kevin Bridges was there.
I like Kevin.
Oh.
I tell you, me and Kevin Bridges, we both had Christmas jumpers on. I had red with Christmas pudding on it.
Oh.
I mean, a knitted Christmas pudding, not just Christmas pudding on it. And I think he had snowflakes. And we had to had our picture taken eating mince pies, and we'd had the Christmas. And there was a sofa to relax on, and we both just sat on the sofa with our legs stretched out, not speaking. That's how Christmassy we'd got. In the middle of October. It was just, that lovely Christmas glowy. It was smashing.
Did they give you a bit of dinner to help that along?
Just mince pies, really.
Oh.
There's always a sadness in the middle of January when I eat the final mince pie that's left, because I always overbuy mince pies.
Oh, yeah. You can't overbuy mince pies.
They sell them all year, though, don't they? That's the weird
Do
thing.
they?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they sell turkey all year, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
They sell presents all year as well.
Presents?
Yeah.
Blimey.
It's amazing.
Is that a hint? Is it Emily's birthday coming up? I've never owned a Christmas... I don't buy Christmas clothing, no. I don't have wardrobe space for something you can only wear once a year. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't buy Christmas clothing. Like, you'd have an entirely separate section of your wardrobe.
Well, I have a separate bank account for Christmas clothing, socks, jumpers.
I thought you meant you had a separate bank account for Christmas. I was thinking, very conscientious savoury, putting something aside for the Christmas presents.
No, I don't buy Christmas presents, so it's quite straightforward.
Really?
No, I tell you what, though, I had some Christmas socks that someone bought me, and I remember realising about December the 30th I hadn't worn them that year. I was absolutely gutted. You really don't want to miss that window.
No.
Because it's once a year.
Yeah.
So after that I had to get rid of them. They were burning a hole in my sock drawer, and I hate it when that happens. Oh, and I was with so it was me, Kevin Bridges, Mrs. Brown, and the kids from Outnumbered, as they're known.
Oh, they're quite nice children.
They are nice children, yeah. At the end of it, they stood in an orderly line, and then they shook hands with each of us and said, "Thank you, it was very nice working with you. Thank you, it's very nice working with you."
Lovely.
Yeah.
That is nice.
And I watched them go across the car park, and they got into a small spaceship.
Absolute Radio, Frank Skinner.
Frank, we've had a query in from Craig on 601.
Did he text us on 8:12:15?
He might well have done.
Well, that's
yeah.
tremendous news.
Frank, my boxer dog is peeking at me from behind the kitchen door. What do you think is wrong with him? You're some sort of dog whisperer these days.
Yeah, that's not a sort of I want to go to the toilet euphemism. Well, he's done something wrong. There's clearly that. I would check. I would watch where you step in. Let's put it that way. Or there could be puppies. Have that lovely basket of puppies when you get round the corner.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, fabulous.
Oh, I was told never to talk to people with a basket of puppies.
Oh, hang on. It's a him. Surely if it's a him, there's not going to be a surprise
Perhaps he's moved the female one in. Could be some mongrel. He's spent all night forcing through the cat flap.
Maybe.
He took butter from the bridge. From the fridge, rather. From the bridge. Might be a bridge. And he's lubed her up and dragged her in through the cat flap.
Okay. Wait, I hope that helps, Craig.
You've got to check the floor, Craig. That's my advice.
Always check the floor.
Yeah.
Frank, I found myself feeling rather envious of school children this week.
Is it their youth and exuberance?
The birth certificate, perhaps.
The iPads.
Okay.
No, there
Gadgets.
is that. But as well, in addition to that...
She hankers for knits.
How dare you? That was a rumour about me. No, it's because they've been on the receiving end of a visit from the Fonz, who, as you know, is my childhood hero.
Oh, well, the Fonz.
Fonzarelli.
In case you don't know, the Fonz was a character from a popular TV series in the 1980s.
80s.
Yeah.
But that's what's a bit strange.
He was known for his coolness because he was a 35-year-old man who hung around with school people in a toilet.
And his office was a toilet.
Yeah.
But
That constituted cool in the 80s.
And that programme kicked off the phrase "jump the shark," didn't it? That's
It did?
where that came from.
I don't know, never heard that phrase in my life.
Okay.
Is it rude?
No, it just means something sort of... Famously, Happy Days had an episode in it where the Fonz jumped over a shark.
Okay.
And that's where people started going, this series is over, it's unbelievable, it's silly now. And
It means that
That
something's
means-
on the way out. If
Yeah,
you
It was
yeah.
like
jump
when Friends came to London, that's the point at which it jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like when the Sex Pistols got Ronnie Biggs as lead singer.
Is that when they jumped
Yeah,
the shark?
that's when they jumped the shark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that phrase from now
Jumping
on.
the shark.
Yeah.
From the Fonz.
Anyway,
I just wonder if when we had that minute talking about Jump the Shark, if that was the moment this show jumped the shark.
I wonder, yeah.
Oh, God, that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
It's also hard to know when the Jaws franchise jumped the shark, isn't it?
I think Jaws 2, probably.
Yeah.
That's
Can
how
I
quick
just
they
say-
jumped the shark.
I've taken a gin 431, I'm afraid.
Oh.
And that's because he's texted in and said, we know who the Fonz was. Oh, I don't like
Well, you know, we don't all know 431. I'm just trying to spread the word here.
You can't speak
I know
for
you
everyone.
knew. Obviously you knew. I wasn't aiming it at you on this occasion.
Anyway, the Fonz has actually been going around schools, one in Swindon, notably.
Has he? Is he
Yes.
still hanging around school for funds? He must be 60 now. Why doesn't he get some grown-up friends?
It's a dyslexia awareness campaign, Frank. I did think, are the children going to think, who's this strange man with grey hair and a black leather jacket?
Well, that's why, because I've had things and people have said, okay, I went, remember my famous Tony Blair argument at number 10 Downing Street? That was a thing with loads of
Ricksgate.
kids. And we had to go in, and me and David Badin had to go and talk to these children. They had no idea at all who we were. It's really... There's nothing worse for a celebrity than people just looking you straight in the face and saying, who are you? It's like, I'd rather be hit with an axe. By the way, did you see the cover of the Mirror today? It says, it's got Simon Cowell and it says, I'll axe you all.
Yeah.
And it's about his threat to the judges. I was really hoping he'd gone mad like in a top shop in Guildford. Gone on the rampage.
He's definitely got it in him.
Definitely.
So, Yeah, so it was a sort of celebrity school visit, but I was worried that the children might be a bit disappointed because we had rather fine visits in my school.
Who did you get?
We had Kenneth Williams.
Blimey,
Yes!
that's a coup.
We had Yehudi Menuhin.
Really? Did he play?
He did briefly, although I can remember as a child seeing him on one of those reduced steam train, and I thought, oh no, it's for a musician of his stature, he's really let himself down there.
He was on a little steam train.
Yes,
That's how he
was.
travelled generally. Yehudi Menuhin. Yeah, and the horn went, Yehudi! It was really unique.
Nice.
He had the darkest bags under his eyes of any human being I've
Yehudi
ever seen.
Menuhin?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Do you remember? He had really dark...
Did you see him on many mornings?
No, just that's what he was like. There were proper black bags under his eyes. It's sort of Alice Cooper style.
Really? Oh. So who did you guys have?
Well, I remember, not really a celebrity, but in West Yorkshire it was of celebrity stature. We had the Welliphant. Do you know the Welliphant? A fire safety elephant.
No. Let me guess, did he put fires out with the aid of his trunk?
I believe so.
Well, that would have been a trick miss, wouldn't it, if he hadn't done that?
Yeah.
The inventors would have been sitting there 2 years ago, and one of them would have gone, oh, God, we never... what we should have done with the Welliphant is to get him to put fire... Oh, man, I can't believe we didn't think of that. Too late now, I suppose.
And he told us that if you waved at firemen on their engine, that they'd always wave back.
Is that true?
It's not proved to be true so far.
No,
I still always give them a wave, but it seems like their mind is elsewhere.
I think he's seen too many gay stag movies.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
We were discussing the Fonz.
Well, we were discussing celebrities who visit schools. I can't believe Kenneth Williams went to your school. We had... Well, they were so minor. They were minor even in our area.
Who did you have?
That we had. We had... I don't think he's even as big as Welliphant. We had Wesley Perrins, the Black Country preacher, who I got into in the Q&A, got into a tussle with one of the kids about whether West Bromwich came under the Black Country or not. You know the area called the Black Country?
It became a boundaries issue.
Yeah, exactly. A boundaries issue with Wesley Perrins, the Black Country. And he said, I don't know if you'll be able to understand this, but he said, now, some people say as West Bromwich is in the Black Country, but yo mark my words, eat I remember it's a terrifying man. The child was trembling. Eat I! Which, in other words, some people say West Bromwich in the Black Country, but you mark my words, it isn't.
Oh.
And it isn't. Eat I!
Well, Kenneth Williams didn't sound dissimilar to that.
He could probably do a good... If you'd ever met Wesley, he could have done a good... we had some text about Happy Days, didn't we?
Well, we have, yeah. Paul in Southend says Happy Days was 1970s. Thanks for that, Paul. Really grateful for that.
No, I love it when they send in information.
No, but I'm
Don't
just
put
saying,
them off.
Frank, I'm just saying it.
Thank you, Paul.
It dates me somewhat. That's why I'm not happy with that.
Do you know that they're in dispute? They're in industrial dispute. The cast of Happy Days at the moment.
They?
Yeah, they're in court, being led by Ralph Malph.
No.
Do you remember the ginger one?
Yeah.
Was he Don Most or something like that?
Yeah, Ralph Malph.
Yeah, Ralph Malph has marched them into court. No, he's always a ringleader, wasn't he, Malph?
Was he? What's it about?
I bet poor old Potsy's been dragged along, right, not really knowing what's going on.
It's not a pay issue, is it?
Yeah, they're saying that they didn't get royalties for merchandise that's been sold. I hate it. To make Happy Days that squalid.
Yeah, Unhappy Days is the headline now, isn't it? As the
you can imagine Al sitting in the dock going, yup. Oh no, it's upsetting when that happens.
I've just remembered another celebrity school visit that we had.
What did you have?
We had the Green Cross Code man.
Dave Prowse.
Who was also, I believe, the body of Darth Vader.
Yeah, well, he thought he was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Apparently he actually got as far as watching the film. And when the head come off, he was saying to the family, here we go, head's coming off now. My head's coming off, get ready, here we go. And it was a different actor altogether.
It was the elephant under there.
Oh, imagine the horror of that. Poor Dave. I've worked with Dave Prowse.
Have you?
Very big.
With them all, haven't you?
I've worked with them all, mate. And we had the Bishop of Dudley come to when I worked at Aylesbury in college.
Did you?
He came. One of my there's in fact...
Hang on, your celebs from school are a preacher and a bishop.
Yes, I don't know why that was. That was the only celebs we had in the West Midlands at the time. Of course, this was during the Reformation.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, I remember he came and they said to one lecturer, they said, you've got to come to the assembly thing because it's the Bishop of Dudley. And he said, I don't want to come. He said, you've got to come, it's the Bishop. And he said, how many divisions has the Bishop of Dudley? Which... only I laughed at. It was something that Stalin said about the Pope. When someone said the Pope will be upset, he said, how many divisions has the Pope? To use that about the Bishop of Dudley was the best thing ever.
And you knew that as a schoolboy? You got
I worked there. I see. Oh, no, we only had one visitor at school. That was Wesley Perrins. Anyway, so he came, the Bishop of Dudley, and he did, like, his speech, and, oh, man, it was... He had his theme was... so he said, I got up this morning and I had a hard-boiled egg for breakfast.
Richard III.
And he said, and I looked and I thought, in many ways we are all like that hard-boiled egg. Our exterior is hard and brittle, but inside we are quite soft and then that was his thing. And then he said he went down the road and he saw this cat and he went to stroke it and it scratched him. And he said, in many ways, we're all like that cat. He did about 9 of things that we were like, which we weren't actually that like. He really killed some flowers he saw. I saw some daffodils. And in many ways, stop it now. Why can't you just talk about us instead of stuff that we're like? Anyway, we'd love to know who you had visiting your school, because I've just got rubbish people. I've always had rubbish people. When I got my degree, the certificate was presented to me by the head of the gas board. I mean, come on.
So Richard Attenborough, just saying.
My best ever celebrity. There's a Birmingham website, and they had a feature on there of celebrities you've spotted in and around Birmingham. So, of course, I looked to see if they included me. Mm-hmm. Not a whisper. But someone said Noel Gordon. Noel Gordon used to star in Crossroads. And he said, I saw Noel Gordon in Birmingham. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. She was a big star in her day. And he said, when I say saw her, I didn't actually see her. She was in a coffin.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
Frank, we were talking earlier about which celebrities came to visit our schools. We've established I had Yehudi Menuhin, Kenneth Williams, and former Arsenal manager Terry Neal.
What?
Yeah, you two.
Oh, you had Terry Neal?
Yeah, we had him. You two had some strange characters.
I think you mentioned Terry Neal.
I did.
No, you didn't mention that. I was in Africa with Terry Neal. I remember there was a sandstorm.
You've worked with them all.
Yeah. There was a sandstorm and Terry Neal disappeared and came back in complete, white Arab robes, like Lawrence of Arabia. We didn't even know who he was. Just this man. He peered through the orange dust because we were all sheltering inside. And this figure, like a ghost, walked down. And you thought, God, which cosmic character will this be? It was former Arsenal Terry Neal.
We've had our lovely listeners have been texting in. They've had all sorts of people.
Yeah. They've been around. They've got plenty here, haven't they? Well,
someone here, 211, we had Douglas Bader visit us at school.
Whoa!
The headmaster was showing him around the school and was struggling to
Can I say, Douglas Bader was a World War II fighter pilot who got shot down. There's a film called Reach for the Sky when he's played by Kenneth Moore. And he was known as Old Tin Legs because they put metal legs on him and he continued going. He's a national hero. Well, as he got older, obviously, what with incontinence, he rusted somewhat. But, no, he was brilliant.
According to 211, he still had his wits about him. Because he said the headmaster was showing him around the school and was struggling to get a door open. So Douglas stood out of his wheelchair, grabbed the door handle, said, I escaped from 2 German prisoner of war camps, and opened the door.
Oh, he was a braggart. No one's denying that. How brilliant.
Oh, and just in, Mick in Reading, sounding somewhat bitter, we had Roald Dahl at our school, but we could only meet him if we bought one of his rubbish books. I think his books are quite good, but I imagine that
That's not really a school visit. That's a signing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Roald Dahl was an early adopter of commercial enterprise autographing, wasn't he?
He was. Wanted to get to a school and make the kids buy a book.
Now, I have to say, Frank, Dave Prowse seems to have been putting himself about rather
Well, he
a
was
bit.
the Green Cross man. He's going to do school work.
Well, although this is getting ridiculous.
I'd like to have seen a big fight, a big fist fight between him and Tofty Fluffytail to see who's got the best road safety. Go on, carry on.
Donna in Epsom. Morning, Frank. We had Dave Prowse come to our school, as well as the Green Cross Code man, and I got to sit on his knee.
As well as the Green Cross.
Well, no,
man.
she meant I gave the wrong emphasis there. She meant as well
Okay.
as
I see.
as well as Alan.
Yeah. She sat on his knee.
She sat on his knee. Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit weird. Hi, Frank.
Don't
We also had Dave Prowse, but we also had Harry Worth. That's from Rob.
Oh, what? How come we had Wesley Perrins, the black country preacher, and people had Harry Worth? I'm going to explain again. Harry Worth was a very famous British comedian whose show had the theme tune, and he used to stand and reflect in himself in a shop window, and he'd raise his one arm and leg, and it looked like he was doing a fabulous flying X in the sky. Absolutely magnificent. If he'd come to our school, I think I'd have burnt the whole place down with him in it, in sheer excitement.
957 Ainsley Harriet.
Ainsley Harriet came.
Yeah.
957 Ainsley Harriet sounds like some terrible tombola when you're winning a night out. And that's not a dig, by the way, at the prize that we're giving away on Absolute Radio, when you can go to Hong Kong to see the actual locations that the new Johnny English movie was filmed in.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Frank, 674. As Emily mentioned Harry Worth, I found myself standing in the doorway lifting my arms and leg, laughing like a James Bond villain.
See, people still remember Harry Worth. If you like James Bond and spoofs on it, maybe you'd like to go and see some of the locations that the new Johnny... What else we got?
How would I visit those locations?
Well, this is the competition on Absolute Radio. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to talk
Imagine
about,
people
Frank.
going, oh, God, that's it. I recognise that door from the second Johnny. Go on.
I'd like to talk about the wife of the Speaker.
Oh.
Frankly, I'm disgusted.
Oh, steady.
No, I am. Well, I know you're a big fan of the Speaker's work.
Well, yeah.
So-
well, you know, it was the previous speaker I loved.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. You have met this Speaker, though.
I have met him, yeah.
Well, she's bringing shame on the Speaker.
Most of the stuff I said went straight over his head. To be honest. Is she bringing shame to the speaker? Is she a bit out of order?
I think she might be a bit out of order.
Well, the Daily Mail described it as fresh torture for the Speaker.
Fresh torture.
I love a bit. I hate stale torture.
Yeah.
Well, you're not
What
going to
is
put me
this?
on the rack again. That's 3 days on. I'm bored with the rack.
I don't mind best before torture.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
No, it's Sally Burkow.
Display on till torture. I'm all right with.
Cow. We're going Burkow or Burkow?
Yeah.
I think you're deliberately trying to say cow about her.
I think I might be.
Oh
think you
no,
are.
don't like that.
No, she's bringing the
That's
office
sly.
into disrepute.
That's sly.
Firstly, she posed with an old sheet by Big Ben.
Yes.
I know you do that every night, but that's between you and Kath.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that one. The
Yes,
sort of
that
sexy
one.
Picture.
And then she went on Celebrity Big Brother. She said she gave the money to charity.
She said.
No, I think she did give. You can't say that. She gave the money
She
to
gave
charity.
a proportion of the money, Frank.
Anyway,
Yeah, she kept a bit.
trying to
for herself
defend
for
this
trouble,
woman.
didn't she?
Then, now, she's just said she's doing a reality show with the man from Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. Mm-hmm. They're moving in together. When Paddy met Sally. She's moving into...
Now, that, can I say, that is a programme that's been commissioned just because there's a pun in the title.
It is.
It is. There's so many shows that wouldn't be on air if it wasn't for that.
They should have got Harry Worth. Would have been much better.
Winton Wonderland, being a very good example.
Paddy said we got on Diamond in the Big Brother house.
Paddy he's the gypsy wedding man, isn't he? And he won the last Big Brother. Okay.
I think he's he's a brawler, isn't he?
Bare knuckle fighter.
He's a brawler.
Not a brawler, bare knuckle fighter.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Noble art. God,
Fair enough.
please don't alienate Paddy from big
I have a feeling I've
whatever
been
it's
on the
called,
same
big
train
breakfast
as him.
wedding. Been on the same train?
I have a feeling I have. I mean, I didn't see my big fat gypsy wedding, the programme, but, you know, you see his picture in the paper now and again. I'm pretty sure I've been on the train with him. It's a weird thing to think about somebody, isn't it? But I'm fairly sure.
I wouldn't have thought he was a train man.
No, you'd think he'd be more horse and cart up and down.
Well, I hope so. All the old ways are dying out.
Yeah. Where have they got to go?
So he's going to live with Sally.
They're going to live together as part of this. Yeah, it's a reality show, and I think no good can come of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there was a story guaranteed to annoy the Daily Mail, it is one with a gypsy and this woman that's bringing shame on the speaker in it together, isn't it? I mean, like, their website must have exploded this week.
Yeah, but what people are not acknowledging here is that people like Sally Bercow are the absolute, the gold of reality TV shows. You need excruciating people. If you're watching a reality TV show and not wincing with agony at points, there's no point in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, like on X Factor, it's when they have the urban moments. When somebody starts rapping inappropriately, you know what I mean? You think, oh, God, I sense this person's never rapped before, but Simon said to him, oh, I like it because it'll be very current. Oh, I think, no, don't try and go street. It's the X Factor, you know what I mean? Keep it light.
I haven't watched this, but do you watch that and think he's no John Barnes? He was a good rapper, wasn't he?
I think please don't go a bit urban on X Factor. And also, they're talking as if rap is just coming out.
Yeah.
It's the new thing on the...
I think it could go big, rap.
She's, I don't wish to be unkind now, because I'll leave that mainly to Emily, but I used to think she was something of a statuesque beauty, Sally Bercow, and it looks like all this stuff, it hasn't had a good effect on her. She doesn't look as nice as she used to.
Yeah, I've travelled the same journey, especially when she first was she was a bit candid about previous lovers, and I thought, oh, good on you, you know, fair play, be honest, why not? And now I think, oh, I've perhaps been hoodwinked.
Too
perhaps
candid.
You're a bit of an attention seeker.
Yeah, but that doesn't
With a cold black heart.
It doesn't explain why she's less attractive than she used to be. Do you think it's actually reflecting the
do.
cold black heart?
Cold black heart is affecting
A cold black heart.
photogenic qualities.
I'm not saying she's ugly. She's sort of, I suppose, in the context of her husband being a speaker, she's a sort of a subwoofer.
Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner.
We've had all sorts texting in this morning, Frank.
Yes.
We've been talking about celebrity visits to schools. We've had
It's become a hot topic.
There's a lot of Chris Akabusi action.
Is that?
Yeah.
And I haven't had an opportunity to say that in many years.
No, he could probably do 6 or 7 in a day once he got his steam up.
When he's got his spikes on or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Lauren, hi Frank, Emily and Cockerell. We had Chris Akabusi come to our school to open the tennis courts, and Peter Andre came to sing as well.
Chris Akabusi's something of a misbooking to open the tennis courts, though, isn't he?
Well, it's sport.
Yeah, I suppose.
Robert says Chris Akabusi came to my school. He made a few of the younger children cry when he laughed.
He did have quite a loud laugh, didn't he?
I like the idea of that, though. I love it when children are startled by loud noises. I went to I don't normally go to bonfire parties because of grudges that go back hundreds of years, but I went to one and all these kids are going, hurrah, hurrah, and there was a really loud banger went off, and it went and then there was like a pause, I'd say, it went and about 30 kids all cried. Exciting, frightening. That was the base, the arc.
That's the... There's another good one, wasn't there? There's where's the Rolf Harris one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Glenn from Somerset?
Rolf Harris came to our school and did one of his massive murals when I was a kid.
Brilliant.
2 weeks later, I found the picture torn into bits in the bin at the back of the school.
That's such a school thing, the mysterious destruction of something. Like when someone put dry ice in the goldfish pond at our school.
Did they?
I mean, what a way to go. Cruel, but dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, that was terrible.
Also had, now this is a good booking, Anna from Bridge North. Hi Frank, we had Buzz Aldrin at our school. How good was that?
Second man on the moon.
That is
I bet that winds him up. I interviewed Buzz Aldrin once, and we had him and his wife, we flew him over from America to this chat show. And we thought, Americans, they love a bit of history. So we put them in this, like a Tudor house hotel. We thought they'd absolutely love this. So the next day, Mrs. Aldrin, old Ma Aldrin, was on the phone, and she said, "This hotel you've put us in, it's awful. You know, the floor, when you walk, it kind of creaks."
Oh, no.
And I could hear Boz, Boz was in the background, sort of saying, you never get this with zero gravity. Shut up, Boz, about 30 years ago. No, but with zero gravity, yes, I know, you were on the moon. It was, poor old Boz.
I think he's sitting down to a nice hotel dinner going, "Oh, when it's dried, we just put water in it."
Oh, no, exactly, yeah. Boz, let it go.
I understand her agony though, because I'm on tour currently, and I've been
Are you really?
I've been staying in quite
Your
a
tour
few
dates
hotels.
available on your website?
Oh, I think they might be. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been staying in hotels, and some of them are quite frustrating. I find it a bit annoying when the layout is wrong, and when there's ambient light, I get annoyed by ambient light.
You like ambient light?
I don't like ambient light. And I was in one where, there's a light inside
I
the
love
cupboard.
ambient light.
Do you?
I don't
one of my
like.
favourite
I don't
things.
like light full stop in a hotel room.
I
But
like
that's
to put
not
my
my
head
choice.
between two pillows in the pillow sandwich, as I've discussed before.
I'll go anywhere for ambient light. I'd say I'm an ambience chaser.
Oh, very good, very good. But I was in one the other day, and there's a light within the cupboard, and when you shut the doors, the wardrobe light goes back off. The wardrobe
Do you
light,
know that for certain?
the wardrobe light wouldn't go back off, so the doors were glowing. There was a glow in the middle.
Oh, I've had that.
It was only like 4 feet from my bed, so I got up and took the bulb out. I had to take the bulb. I never do any DIY in my own home.
No, but that's
I'm staying
quite
in a
bold,
place for
taking that
12 hours, and I took the bulb out.
If I did that, I'd have to put the ball back in before I left. I wouldn't be able to leave it there.
I didn't. I just.
What if the cleaner leaned on it?
Well, whatever.
Well, that's a nice attitude. Well, just because they're menials, it doesn't matter if they bleed to death.
No, I don't think they would have bled to death.
Oh, this is like the head of the IMF.
And last week I stayed in a hotel that, that was called My Hotel, which is annoying if you can't find it.
It's like my mum's cola.
But it is annoying. I couldn't find it, and I wanted to ask people for directions, but I didn't want to go up to somebody and say, "Excuse me, do you know where my hotel is?" And
That would sound like you're mad.
"Well,
Yeah.
what is your hotel?"
Yeah, exactly.
So I had to just fathom it. It was really annoying.
That is a problem.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
I stayed at a hotel. Actually, it wasn't actually a hotel. It was. Remember, I said a few weeks ago, I think, that the first date I had with my girlfriend was actually a holiday.
Oh yeah.
I just said, "Do you want to go on holiday?" Well, we hired this place, this sort of country cottage place in the Lake District. And when we got there, in what I would call the master bedroom, I don't know if you can still say that.
Oh no, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't it be the mistress bedroom as well?
Well,
The mistress bedroom is a bit something else, isn't it?
Depends who you are, darling.
Depends what sort of holiday it was.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, there was the bed was there, and in the middle of the room was the toilet.
Oh.
I mean, in the middle, they must have moved. They must have knocked one into the other in the middle of the room. And what they'd done is they'd put a Japanese lacquered screen around it, as if that would make it all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is exactly the problem.
Now, obviously, we weren't sleeping in the same room, so it wasn't a problem.
What?
No, it was, it was our first date, bear in mind.
Oh, I see.
So,
I still don't understand.
anyway. Oh, and then we went to Mexico once, me and my girlfriend, and I got sick on the plane. I mean, really sick. I wasn't actually sick on the plane, but I knew I was going to be sick. One of those, the car to the hotel, I'm really gripping the armrests.
Right.
One of those. And I still stopped, I remember, at reception to have an argument about the price of the room. Even though I knew I could be sick at any moment. I won't tolerate that. But we got into the room and they had like really loud house music, real thumping, and I was really being sick, and I was going, turn the music off. The music was making me feel worse, and Kath couldn't find the way of turning the music off, and she found something that made it louder. And I was feeling, oh man. It was one of those occasions when things literally went a bit Pete Tonk. Oh, it still makes me feel terrible just thinking about it.
I'm glad you mentioned that toilet, because that was another problem that I had only this week. Is when they go trendy, the layout of the hotel room I was in had a toilet in a separate room from the bath and shower and
That's
sink.
all right. Yeah.
Well, it is all right, but it was miles away. Not miles, obviously. It wasn't a suite or anything, but it was. I counted. It was 8 steps. So you got to use the bathroom. You got to use the toilet.
I'm glad you counted.
Yeah.
Two corners. And I mean, I'm not a hygiene freak, but whilst I was walking, there was a long enough time to feel germy before you even get to another room to wash your hands. It's too far away.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I find that those hotel slippers are not very good for cornering.
No.
You know what I mean?
You can't get purchased, Frank.
That adds another half a second.
I don't know if they're radials they got on them, but they're, you could go over. You could go straight over on a tight corner. Imagine that. You'd get blood on your robe.
And it had an ironing board in the toilet. Why is it in there?
In the toilet?
Why is the ironing board? Oh,
Well, I don't know. You know, but if you've ever dropped toilet paper down the toilet and it goes horribly crinkly, it'd be quite nice.
Ironing board in the toilet. I stayed at
That could
Disneyland
be
Paris
luxurious,
once,
couldn't it?
and they had in the child's bedroom they had a Mickey Mouse ashtray, which I thought was very French. I swear that's true.
Then that's put an idea. That's Euro Disney. That was that.
Disneyland Paris, yeah.
Yeah, that's put an idea in my head, the ironing board. Because could there be any more pleasant sensation than using freshly ironed toilet paper?
Oh, yeah.
Still warm.
Well, that would be nice.
Oh, actually, I might get perhaps a small microwave in the toilet.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, cosy. Well, you wouldn't want to let it go.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
Frank, we've had a text in 437. That last fall tune was Mark singing My Dog Will Never Be Oprah. Clarification appreciated.
Because it's not out of the question that Mark E. Smith would have a lyric that said my dog would never be Oprah. Some forlorn, perhaps one of those people like you get on Britain's Got Talent when the dog dances, and you just wonder what goes on in their private lives. But no, it's my door will always be open, I think, and then it's my door will never be open. He messes about with it a bit. But I think yes, but let's face it, his dog never will be Oprah. None of our dogs will.
We can near enough categorically say that.
Yeah,
can't we?
I'm prepared to stick my neck out on this one.
Frank, there's been a bit of an incident in Australia this week.
What?
What again?
Well, the Queen has been... An MP basically caused a bit of an etiquette breach. She refused...
Oh, it was wasn't it the President or whatever?
Oh, yes, Prime Minister, I'm sorry.
Prime Minister.
Julia Gillard, I believe the name is.
Born in Wales.
Yeah. Oh, I like that you have all the biographical information.
Yeah, I just the
know
facts I know.
Well, she wouldn't curtsy to the Queen. She said, "It's just not me." That's what she said.
Well, I think I can. It's all right, isn't he?
No,
That's fine.
Oh, so what do you mean it's just not me? I mean, it's not a character trait, curtsy.
No, you're right. I'm not much of a curtsier.
Oh, she's such a curtsier.
Who is though?
Do you think J.M. Curtsier's wife says that? I'm not much of a curtsier. What do you mean by that? Well, no, I just said. Now, what do you mean? What are you getting at? I can imagine that going on in the curtsier household.
South African Literature Week on Absolute Radio.
There isn't enough. Can I say, by the way, I just saw an advert on the television, and it was Sting's new album, Greatest Hits.
Oh.
Greatest Hits, always a worry when the greatest hits come out.
Yeah.
And the album is standing in a lake with no shirt on, playing the guitar. I'm expecting a shark to go past, which he jumps at any point. Sorry, the Queen. Yeah, did you see when they introduced the basketball, the female basketball player?
Oh no, I didn't see
It
that.
was like an old-fashioned Victorian freak show, honestly. You know, in the old days, they'd have been in Africa, the Queen and Queen Victoria, and they'd have brought out the woman with 84 neck rings.
Oh yeah.
They brought out this Australian female basketball player who was over 7 foot tall. She was enormous, and she wore a lovely blue dress. It's not going to hide anything. And they brought her out, and the Queen, had to really crane her neck to look up at her. It was terrifying. I thought, I wish this woman would curtsy. She's going to curtsy, and then someone's going to say, hold on, where's that little kid with the flowers gone? Oh, man, Duke of Edinburgh, you could see, was saying something to her. You thought, oh, no, this will be something terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I'm quite fond of an old-fashioned manner or two, Frank. I like.
Oh, no, I'm not decrying manners, but I think curtsying, it's quite tricky. It's easy to go over with a curtsy, especially if you're still in your hotel slippers. Yeah. I think we've established that they're not foot safe.
Not great for the purchase.
You stand up for an anthem, though, wouldn't you?
Wait, oh yeah.
There you go.
But that's more of a football thing, I think. Have you curtsied?
Oh yeah, I've met the Queen.
Have you?
Yeah, it was in a gaff.
Is this something we know? Is this something that I don't know because I'm new to the show?
Well, I say met. She just gave me a bit of a dirty look. Yeah, it was at the it was in Buckingham Palace in the garden.
Were you on her window ledge?
I was on her son's window ledge. And I went, oh, it's the Queen. So I thought I sort of semi-bowed, I thought.
Oh.
It was a bow/curtsy.
Well, that's what the Prime Minister, the second time she met her, she bowed.
No, mine was much more feminine.
Now, I've met the Queen. We just shook hands. Simple as that.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah. Then she takes that glove off and throws it into a bin liner held by an assistant, puts another glove on for the next handshake. That's like...
Right, like she works in a deli.
Exactly. Like she works in customs.
I don't understand why it's always that way around. Like, the Australian woman has the Australian Prime Minister has to curtsy, which is her changing her. It's not like the Queen went there and assimilated into Australian society and, like, wore a baseball cap or went surfing or anything. Why is it always, like, Joe Public that's making the concessions? The royal family get their own way a lot, don't they?
Oh, bit of republicanism here on Absolute Radio.
I'm calling it the Cockerell Controversy Hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's really controversial, isn't it?
Someone's got to replace Ian Lee. So it's if you want any if you'd love any old-fashioned manners to come back, text in and tell us what they would be, because I've got to think of a few.
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
So, Frank, we were talking about old-fashioned etiquette. And I'd like to see a return to it, quite frankly.
No, I know what you mean.
Not just that, just those little touches. Where's the letter opener gone? Very polite.
Sorry, I thought you were just asking. I haven't had it. I used to have I bought one from a second-hand shop once in Thorpe-le-Soken, Essex, and it was like an animal's foot. The handle, a real animal's foot, and I'm sure it wasn't killed for the purpose of. I imagine it was somebody doing their best.
That can't have given you a very clean incision.
No, it's had a blade. It had like a lovely ivory sort of blade. I'd forgotten about letter openers.
I love letter openers. We had a brown leather handle, gold blade.
Smashing. I mean, and also, I'd like a letter opener because since we no longer have a coal fire in the bedroom, there's no ready-to-hand weapon to kill a burglar with that you could say it was just lying around, because that's if you kill a burglar, you have to say it's just lying around. Letter opener could have been in any room. I heard a noise downstairs. I instinctively grabbed the letter opener. You're fine.
Yeah, or you could just move to the northwest, where recently killing burglars has become quite legal. It seems.
Well, no, I think that's a national phenomenon. But I think that might be a bit political for. Let me just check. Oh, well, apparently way too political.
We're off air.
Yeah, God, you've become a shock jock, Cockerell.
Well, someone had to. There was a gap, wasn't there?
Yeah, blimey.
Also, I like, Frank, I like a thank you letter. I like a child that gets up for me on a tube. You haven't had a hard day. I have. I'm sorry, but I think that's true. No, I don't think the child deserves the seat.
Yeah,
what have you been doing all day?
I don't like that moment when somebody first gets up for you. You think, oh, here we go, downhill all the way. Somebody was saying to me only this week that a friend of theirs met the Queen and became completely obsessed during the few seconds about punching her really hard in the face. And he said if I punched really hard in the face, I would be world famous. I'd be everywhere, YouTube. You know what I mean? It'd be instant, massive, massive celebrity. Every country in the world would show the Queen being punched in the face.
That's true.
I hope I haven't put that in anyone's mind who's meeting the Queen in the near future. Oh no, I'm going to fret about that now tonight. In a way, it could be my fault. Anyway, at least there isn't a letter opener anywhere near. It could go a lot worse.
Absolute Radio, Frank Skinner.
Well, I've been doing this radio show quite a while, and I've only just discovered that even if you shout shut up really loudly at the record, it doesn't stop playing.
No, there's a button for that, isn't there?
Yeah, that'll be the Foo Fighters with The Pretender.
We've had a good text in from 466. To kill a burglar with a letter opener, he would need to be stationary. Very good.
Love it. I feel like I just slipped into a hot bath.
It's nice,
That's a fabulous pun.
There is something warming about a pun, isn't there?
Oh.
There's something warming.
Tell me about it.
Don't tell me about it.
No, actually tell me about it. I need more detail. No.
Frank, we've also had celebrity school visits. 682, well, actually, it's called Morris, or Maurice, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, famous visitors in 1973, Mother Teresa visited our school.
That's it.
Whoa, that's a biggie.
That's it. No, the votes. You're not going to top Mother Teresa. Poor old Douglas Bader. I mean, he was ahead of Chris Akabusi, and he's not got no legs. But Mother Teresa has come out on the outside track and pipped it. Brilliant.
That was in Birmingham.
And the Wellington's a distant memory now.
In my end is my beginning. We started with Wesley Perrins, the Black Country preacher, and we've ascended Jacob's ladder and ended with Mother Teresa. Brilliant.
Frank, before we go, I'd like to share something with you. I've had a bit of an incident with the cockerel.
What? Oh dear, are we doing internals on air?
It's nothing to worry about. Well, you know what I'm like. I'd rather be direct and raise this now, cockerel.
Dear.
It was a bit of a wake-up call for me.
I believe we call him the Shockerel. Someone was suggesting after his political comments today.
Political comments.
As you may
thinking aloud.
Frank, as you may recall last week, do you remember we were discussing the Alan Partridge autobiography?
I was just thinking aloud. That's what Richard Keys said. Make it all right.
Alan recommended it. You recommended it.
I'm trying to change the subject here from plugging someone else's book. Can you tell? I suppose it would be a funny book as it's written by 4 people. Yes, try writing one on your own. That's all I'll say.
Anyway, the cockerel and I were walking. It was sort of northeasterly direction, cockerel.
Well, this is being read from a policeman's notebook in a local courtroom.
Well, it was criminal in some ways, what he said.
Evidence.
Go on.
And the cockerel said to me, I said, should I buy the audiobook or the hardback, do you think? And the cockerel said, well, I've only known you 3 months. I don't think I'm in a position to give you life advice. Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if I'm not being misquoted slightly. I think I said something along the lines of, I don't think I'm qualified to take this decision for you. I've only known you 3 months. But that is my own...
tentative, that wasn't it?
It's my own problem, because I don't like making decisions. I'm not going to choose for you. I mean, I do a lot of driving, so the audiobook was good for in the car. But... yeah, I don't know how much driving you do.
It was the 3 months that bothered me. And as I said to you, you may recall, Cockerel, what did I say to you when you said that?
I don't know.
I think I said to you, well, I've had therapists I've known for a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
And they constantly give me life advice.
Yeah.
But Frank, it made me think I was a probation friend for the cockerel, and I'm not a real friend.
Well, I think it takes a bit of time with the cockerel. I think we've always
he's been circling me in that barnyard for too long.
I think
Commit.
Getting to know the cockerel is like visiting a stately home. I think you're welcome, but there's still quite a lot of no entry signs.
Oh yeah, there's nooks and crannies.
Yeah, there is. You're not allowed into the living quarters.
I thought the radio show was like dog years, though. 3 months, that's middle age for a cocker spaniel.
Oh, good.
So did you go hardback or audio?
I went hardback, just to spite the cockerel.
Well, I think you should have split the difference, bought the hardback, and then read it out loud.
Yeah,
I'm calling that a bog off.
That's a good
Buy one.
idea.
Yeah, see, you could completely, you could pull the wheels off the audiobook industry if you did that on a
I'm
regular
still
basis.
not sure about the point of the hardback. Why are we carrying on with the hardback at all? Have people got that many short tables that they need to balance up? Or?
No, it's rubbish. I hate hardbacks. I begged with my publisher if I could go straight into
paperback,
and he wouldn't have. He said we make all the money on the hardback.
Really?
Oh, of course. What are about 16 quid?
Oh, right.
Anyway, I don't want to give the game away on the... I think I've slightly messed up my Christmas sales there in one small thing. Anyway, I'm sorry, I hope you two have settled now. Can I say I've known Emily for how long?
Oh, nigh on 15.
Yeah, still never been to a house. So, let you...
friend.
So people who live in glass houses, which she might, for all I know... Yeah, it's like a gothic novel, our relationship. Yes, I love you, Frank, but never go in that room. Anyway, Not the Weekend podcast is available from Wednesday morning. It's a completely different show that we do. Sarah Champion is next, and if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be back next week at the same time. Goodbye.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.